Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ala de Winter. I am here with my co-host Popeye. Welcome to Riff Raff Radio. It's that time of the week again. It's Saturday, 10 p.m. Philippines Standard Time. Let me just mute this one here. Okay, good. Thanks. Um, Today we will talk about a few guys uh, whom you already know, guys that are known as uh, major league assholes in this Philippine vlogging community. One of these guys is Video Freedom and a couple of other guys. I would like to inform you that below the screen here in the description, you'll see two sites, two links. And I would like you guys who are listening right now to click on these links and check these sites out. Popeye will tell us a little bit more in a few minutes about all these sites. We will have Steve Montelli on the show. He will tell us a little bit something about his beef with Video Freedom, and later on maybe another special guest joining us on Riff Raff Radio. But let me just welcome our co-host here, uh, Popeye. How are you? How are you
I'm
today?
doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. It's just another day in paradise. Thank you, all you freaking losers, for showing up this morning, uh, or whatever time of friggin' day it is where you are at this point in time. Okay, so welcome to all the losers. I don't see any fucking winners in the chat. You're all fucking losers, equally losers in my eyes. And I have a little something to say. All right. This is what I'm going to do for now on. You come in this chat and you say obscene things about people's families, friends. I'm just going to block you. Okay. You're done. All right. That goes out to the Russ Bundos, the KBs, the BB Bruisers, because you idiots are just muddying the waters. Okay? You're hateful, you're spiteful, you're so unhappy. Okay? And I'm done with you. Just, you can make as many Russ Bundos as you want, as many Dave Phelps as you want, or, copy somebody's Facebook moniker, and I'm just going to block it. Now, if you want to come in here and you want to say something constructive, okay, because that's what we're here for. And let me tell you what Riff Raff Radio is here for. We are here to talk about e-beggars, okay? And e-beggars don't like that. We're here to talk about the beefs in the community, okay? So if you're going to make all these little monikers up, guarantee you I'm going to block you and you can sit on the sideline. It's done. It's over. I'm not going to put up with it. This channel is not going to put up with that kind of shit. And right now, I'm going to call out. Yes, I'm going to call out the enablers of these idiots. Number one, if you go to Big Kevin Bullpen Show and you watch his chat, you will see people like KB, BB Bruiser, Go Go Boo Boo, Russ Bundo. Those are all the trolls, and he entertains those trolls. Guaranteed. He entertains them all the time. He condones them. All right? And I'm not going to put up with it at this channel. If his channel wants to condone and enable these trolls, be my guest, but I am calling him out. BAE, that's another one. He condones these trolls. Right? Another one, Jerry the Fairy. He condones these trolls. All right? I'm calling him out. I'm calling all these garbage channels out for doing this. And that leads me into this guy, the chair, Hawaii 5-0. He goes by many names. I am so tired of his ass. All right, I'm done with him. Let me tell you about the chair. The chair sends me messages all the time on the Popeye channel. He just gets out there and he says, "Oh, you want to be like Dave? Bring it on, dude. Oh, Dave called you a pissant on another channel, dude." And actually sends me a link to go to the other channel and see if Dave called me a pissant. Highly doubt it, Frankie. Highly doubt it. And there's another thing happening in this community, what they're doing. They're getting really pissed off. Okay. Oh, and Ren Zero, I haven't forgotten about you, buddy. We are not going away. All right. I have so much more information on you that I will put out during this show, how you reinvented yourself. You're in line with Frankie also. Okay. Because all these guys stick together. No doubt about it. And yeah, I do. Frankie, I want to be like Dave. I want to be the next Dave. I'm going to bring it on. You're going to have to deal with it. And the final thing they're doing, when they can't get any traction whatsoever, what do? They threaten a lawsuit. Okay. Yeah, they threaten a lawsuit. I'm going to go to the barangay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're slander and you're liable. But yet this guy comes out and he says to all his subscribers, he wants you to go over and mass flag a channel, which is against the YouTube guidelines. Very wrong, Frank. Very wrong. Everything you put out, Frank, is downloaded and saved. So bring it. I mean, come here to the United States and sue me, please. Please do it. See, we will see how far you get. You will not get an inch. Okay? You will not get an inch. All right? And look at, oh, this guy comes in with shut up, Popeye. I think Ren will offer Chixie to you to leave him alone. Maybe so. I don't know. All right, but all I know is she's out there and she's sticking her mug in the camera and she's e-begging like a big dog. And you know, dude, wrong answer. Wrong answer. Not going to put up with it. Not going to put up with it. Yeah, Age Dab, I know he's a troll also. All right. I also know he's a pompous ass. And he can threaten lawsuits all he wants. All right. I'm going to speak. I'm going to get up here. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to push back on whatever garbage these channels are putting out. And they're going to have to eat that shit sandwich. What do you think there, my good man, Aloe?
It's nice that you gave us an overview about the who is who of loser community. I really appreciate that. And you were right on the money with everything that you just said. I would sign that right away because all your statements are 100% correct. I would just like to make sure that all you guys listening right now to Riff Raff Radio, it's about 47, 49 people. I'm just checking on this. 49 people listening to us right now. Welcome to Riff Raff Radio. I would like to bring your attention to following sites. Please go and check out these sites: sitemodeling.com and www.scenequeens.com. And you'll find that these two sites are catering to a certain group of girls who are uploading their pictures with a certain look. I am not very familiar with this subgroup of teenagers, but I was told that this is some sort of a, a, a site where very young girls are kind of like exchanging pictures wearing certain brands, and they have a certain style. And the person who is behind these sites is a man well known in our community, and that's Video Freedom. And as you guys know, Video Freedom has attacked various vloggers of this community, and he has done so over the last 2 to 3 years. He claims to be some sort of a radio host slash conspiracy theorist or something like that, and he claimed to make.
He thinks he's a big time
He thinks he's a big shot.
conservative. He
Yeah,
thinks
he
he's
thinks
the
he's a
next
big shot.
Rush Limbaugh. That's what he thinks he is.
Absolutely. And he's absolutely obsessed with two things. One thing, and we all know that, is Alex Jones. The other thing, and we just found out about that, is that he is very interested in very, very young girls. And it's very, very disturbing. When you go to these two sites, you'll find out that these two sites, where we put the link here in the description, please check it out, that these two sites are run by him, are owned by him. He is the guy behind these two sites. And what I'm talking about here is Bebot's Standard. As you guys know, Bebots is another very shady character in this Philippine YouTube community, and this is the reason how, or this is the link between the two of them, because both of them have a very strange interest in very, very young ladies. And you can be the judge. You go there and check out these sites. I want to use this opportunity to thank the guys who are working hard in the background, digging up all these information. And I know that Heminger and a couple of other fanboys, Video Freedom fanboys, are listening to this right now. I want to just tell you this: we got the phone numbers, we get the addresses, we know where he was living, we know where he owns property, we know everything about these guys. And he's not the only one that they are searching for more information, because there are other guys out there who are also a target for this show, Riff Raff Radio. And I just want to say thanks to all these guys who are sending us all these very valuable information. And I would like to ask you, Popeye, when you checked these sites, when you saw these sites, what was your first thought? I mean, we all know what kind of low life prick Video Freedom is, and we all know how obsessed he is with certain topics. Because if you do not know Video Freedom, there is one thing that explains it all. This is a guy who went to the Philippines, got screwed over by a couple of bar girls, and then went back to the US and started to bash the Philippines and its people and every expat who is in the Philippines. He is a sick personality. And now that we found out what kind of hobbies that he has, it just confirms it. Rumor has it that he is currently staying in Cambodia. And when you look at these sites, when you know what we are talking about, when you go there and check it out, then you'll know the reason why he's in Cambodia is probably not because of the coconuts and Angkor Wat and the temples, but it's because of a certain uh, people, a certain group of people that has brought him to places like Thailand and Cambodia. And again, I'm talking about very, very young females. It's very disturbing. And now we have the opportunity to do something about it. So, Video Freedom, if you hear this, there's absolutely nothing you can do about this. Expect to hear from us, literally, to expect to hear from us, because we got all your information. And Twitchy from Thailand actually is a guy who has put out a vlog about Video Freedom just a couple of weeks ago, and now we know how this guy actually looks like. And I must say, it's not only that he is a very disturbing character, a very ugly person, he actually also looks very, very shitty. You know, he kind of looks like as if he stitched some spaghettis to his back. To the back of his head. We got Steve Montelli right now here joining Riff Raff Radio. Steve, how are you? What are you doing? And where are you?
Morning, Allo. I'm in Arizona. I'm drinking coffee, and it's early here. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to ask you one question. Can you give us a short overview about who is Video Freedom and why did you have, let's call it, why did you have a beef with him?
Who he is, I don't know. I don't know who he is. I mean, I sort of know his persona, but my thing with him started just like what I assume is the way he approaches others. He starts with a barrage of emails, and as the emails go on, they threaten, especially, in my case, they threaten dire consequences if you do this or that. Not from him, just from the world. There's the way he does it is documented by a bodybuilder named Lee Priest. I don't know if you guys watched that video or not. And he does it kind of the same way to everybody. I mean, it starts with a barrage of emails and threats, and he has inside information. And, I don't know why he picks who he does or, the reasons he does it, but that's the way it always goes.
Can you tell us what kind of threats these are? Can you describe these threats?
Well, the threats start later. When you don't agree with him right off, and you do what he says that he says you shouldn't do, i.e., go to the Philippines. And it depends. We've had a few wars back and forth on YouTube. I outed him on YouTube one time with video and audio, and so of course then he gets that video taken down. Then he makes one about me that's inflammatory. I get that video taken down. Just over the years, it just kind of comes and goes. I mean, he's threatened my family. He's threatened my mother. Good luck with that. She's dead. You can threaten my dead mother all you want. My kids are adults, so they really don't care one way or the other. But he will try and injure you in real life if possible.
Did he tell you how he would do that?
Injure you in real life?
Yeah.
Well, he just, he tries to get to people he tries to get to your employer, should you have one. I mean, anything he can do to impact your life in the real world, he says he'll do. Now, he says he knows all this stuff, and he's an operation, and he's got an investigator, which is, no more than Hemi. That's really about it. He's just kind of a thorn in the side of many people. Like I say, the Lee Priest video is a perfect example of someone he hates who's successful, and it starts the same way with the emails and the insider information, and then it gets down to the threats. I mean, the thing went the same way with Lee Priest. So Lee Priest is a big world known bodybuilder. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's pissed off. He's pissed off with anybody that's more successful than he is, I think.
Well, that leads me back to this, Steve. And before I get into it, I just want to thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I like your videos. I subbed your channel.
I don't know, man. You know what? The videos are getting the watch my day genre is really, it's really, I think it's over. I mean, it's seen its day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like what you did in Barrio Subic. I got to see a lot of memories, and I'll tell you, I could tell you what kind of guy Video Freedom is, Steve. When I first got on YouTube, I started searching around, and I was actually looking for somebody who was doing live stream about conservative views, and I found this guy, Video Freedom, and I started listening, and I'm like, there's something off about this guy. I can't comment on any of his live streams, so I sent him a private message on YouTube, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to know why you got your comments section shut down. I'd like to leave comments and this and that." And I immediately got a reply, and it said, "Fuck off. Do you have your own YouTube channel?" That's exactly what it said in the reply. And I said, "Ooh." And then I learned more and more about this guy. And what he does is he hides behind this persona of conservatism, which really makes me want to throw up. And now that I see these two websites that he has, Steve, and I want to answer your question that you asked me a while back there, Aloe. These two websites are disgusting. And what he is using them for is to make money. And
I can't figure out how he's making money. How's he
I,
making money off of them?
I'm going to tell you,
Okay.
when you go onto the website, you have to sign up. You have to pay to see certain things on the website. It might as well be on Pornhub, okay? And he gets a cut of that. That's how he makes the money. And this guy must be on the internet night and day, contacting all these girls and getting them to sign up for this website. Take a look at the website when you get a chance. You will be disgusted.
Well, I looked
Okay.
at the first one and I couldn't really see what the point was. I mean, there was kind of a manifesto written there
Yeah.
by him, I assume.
Yes. That is correct. He is the
The
public.
second website I couldn't get to work.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it said it was a dead link. Did it work for you guys? The second one?
Yeah, it worked for me.
Okay. Well, I don't have really good internet here, so.
Oh,
You know.
okay. No problem. But you get the gist of what I'm talking about here,
Sure.
you know? And I don't know what you did to rub him the wrong way, but all I did was ask him, why you got your comments section shut down, and I got a big old FU for it, which I said, well, that turned me off right from the get-go. And this guy, I've seen photos of him. I mean, weird haircut. I hear he's in Thailand now begging money from other expats. And when I see people go to Thailand, especially Pattaya Beach, I've been to Pattaya Beach with my ship. Okay? And there's every kind of perversion there you can think of if you want it. It's there for yours for the taking if you want it. Is there good things about Pattaya Beach? Yeah, there are some good things. There's some good things about Thailand, but they have that red light industry there. And,
Well,
and that's what they do there. And he is in his element there. This guy is depraved. And I'm just glad the people behind the scenes are getting all the information and doing what they're doing. Now, to get back to your point there, Steve, where this guy is actually threatening your real life. I don't know anything about your real life, but Steve, but what I do know about you is you come on, you do nice videos, stuff like that. I don't see where you have hurt anybody. Can you help me out with that? What really is the crux of all this between you and video freedom?
the crux is that I didn't take his advice, and it pisses him off. I don't know if you watch his old videos and things, he likes to be right, and he likes to let the world know I was right. So it's.
And what advice did he exactly give you?
Well, it's the stuff he says. Don't go to the Philippines. It's a dangerous place. And I'm going, well, yeah. I mean, I know it's it's not the safest place in the world. But I don't know. And it really just kind of degenerated from. I mean, this was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So it really kind of degenerated from there. And like I say, we did a couple of videos against each other that got strikes.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, his threats were, physical threats against my family, and
Hmm.
he knows things. It's just the same thing all the time. There's nothing different that happened to me that happens with other people who get on his wrong side. I mean, he'll just do video after video after video. I
I
mean, I
mean,
mean, the last time I heard from him, he left. I was talking about my girlfriend, and he wrote a comment that says he means prostitute. That was it. That was his whole thing. So then it started again, and
uh-huh.
then the threats start again. And of course, I go to his. How did I communicate with him? Very difficult to communicate with him. I don't know.
I do remember, Steve, that a couple of months ago we talked about the idea of having a debate between you and Aaron, and I contacted Jay Real Deal because I know that Real Deal has communication with him, and he told me that he contacted Aaron, told him that there is, the idea of having a debate. You, Steve, would like to debate him because a couple of months earlier, before of that, he challenged you to a debate, and you actually agreed a couple of months later to that offer, and basically said, "Hey, let's do it. I'm ready for it." And he never really got back to us. He never really replied to Jay Real Deal's email. So I don't know. I don't know if he was uh, afraid of having a debate, or if he was hesitant on going to another channel, and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to put that out there so people know what went down. I actually know of people who have also been threatened by him. He tried to destroy their reputation. He tried to forward you know certain information to former employers, and so on and so forth. And again, I know that he will listen to this because some of his fanboys are here in the live chat, and I would just give them the advice not to do it, because now, Aaron, we know how you look like, we know where you live, we know where you lived, where you worked, what property you own, where you own it, and so on and so forth. We know basically everything.
Well,
And if you
Elo, they don't realize that, the tables can be turned. All right. And if anybody out there comes in, digs into my life, I'm going to turn the table and dig into your life. Guaranteed. And I'm going to dig so fucking deep, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. I'm going to make it hurt. Okay. So, to the Jerry Fairies of the world, to the big Kevins, the little Kevins, all you assholes who entertain these friggin' trolls, I will have your ass. Okay? I have the patience. I'm not going to stop. The show goes
actually,
after beggars and bullshit artists and scammers. Go ahead, Ella.
actually, actually, when Twitchy came out with his vlog where he really destroyed uh, video freedom, um, the strange thing was that just a day or two after that vlog, he removed all his videos on his Video Freedom channel. And
Mm-hmm.
now he just, the last time I checked, he just puts up videos about Alex Jones and about some, e-begging that he is doing, but not much more. He was uploading a lot of his older videos from alt-right radio. That's another channel he had,
Mm-hmm.
and he put it all. I mean, he took it all down, and that's a sign of cracking under pressure. And what I mean by that is he has always used his anonymity as a way to withdraw from all of this. It's basically like a hit and run strategy that he followed, and he was very, very careful about that. And now, and I'm not kidding here. I've seen all the informations about this guy, and I'm not talking just about the way how he really looks like without the sunglasses and the hoodie on. I'm talking about all the fucking. It's like I've seen fact sheets about of these guys.
The haircut too.
Address
Talk
and
about the
everything,
haircut. Talk about the
everything.
haircut.
So if this guy, if any of you guys out there listen to this guy should be very careful. This guy should be very careful.
I mean,
Because there are
really.
guys out there who will use this information against him in the worst possible way. And you know what? I'm one of these guys. I tell you that. I'm one of these guys. Because I have no hesitance
Compunction.
whatsoever
Yeah.
to do that. If I know this and that, if I get the informations and I hear only one thing coming from that corner, I will do it. I will do it. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We have all the information. I was waiting for this for a very long time. And let this be a lesson for the other guys out there as well. Because I know that you are listening. The man in Bantayan Island, for instance, or other vloggers. Right now, there is a team of people who are trying to find info about you. And they're very successful in doing so. They're very successful in doing so.
Steve, I wanted to ask you, where do you stand right now with this beef between you and Video Freakdom? I guess Steve is not with us.
He muted his mic there. Maybe he's taking a piss in the sink or something.
But
this is very interesting, right? Because I am surprised about how many informations these people were able to find. And I'm not just talking about how old they are, the exact birth, their middle name, addresses, and so on. I mean, the property that they own, and so on and so forth. I mean, criminal records, the sites that they host on the internet, basically everything.
Yeah.
Let's just say there's a guy out. Yeah, let's just say there's a guy out there who's really mad. What could he do? He could call up his relatives, because we also have informations about his relatives. This guy could just call up his relatives and say this and that. They could threaten them. They could send informations to their neighbors, to their tenants if they rent out a place, and so on and so forth, to their employers. They could basically destroy these people's reputation. And Video Freedom is not aware of that. And now it's turning against him, because I know that he did that. He did that with certain bloggers. He contacted former employers of certain bloggers, telling them that these people are engaged in basically in human trafficking and shit like that. I mean, think about that. And he was able to do so because nobody knew where he is, and nobody had an address or something like that. Nobody could do anything about it because nobody actually really knew how he looked like. And that is all the past. Now we do know how he looks like, where he is, and we have all the informations. So Heminger, if you listen to this, tell your boss, Video Freedom, that he should try to behave in the future. Steve, if you could have had that debate with him, what would you debate with him? What would you tell him?
That was my question. Really, is what is there really to talk about? What is the problem here except not taking his advice? That's the crux of the problem. I mean, it's really hard to call everyone else a sexpat when you're living in Pattaya. It's really hard to take the moral high ground on that one.
I'd have to agree with that because I know what goes on in Pattaya, Pattaya, however you want to pronounce it, Steve.
Yeah,
But
I know.
you know that's neither here nor there. But Steve, I did 2 tours of duty in Philippines. I've lived in Philippines out in town for over 6 years. Okay, done a lot of port visits into Subic, the area where you've done your videos. I've lived in Barrio, East Bahak Bahak. I've lived in on Otera Drive in Mabayuhan. I used to take the red jeepney home. And the minute I found out my first few weeks in the Philippines, the minute you're in the Philippines and if you're with a girl, the first thing people ask you, especially guys like Video Freedom, oh, what bar did you get her out of? Okay? Not every girl you're out and hanging out with is a bar girl. But on top of it, I've always adapted this attitude about Philippines. If you're with a girl and she works in the bar, that's your business. Right? Uh, you're not hurting anybody. The only one you could possibly hurt is yourself, depending on the girl. Would you say I was not? Would you say I was correct in that statement?
Well, I would say that the town of Pattaya needs no verification of what it is from anybody. I mean, everybody knows that's the number one sex destination in the world.
Right.
In the world. I mean, that's what it's. I mean, it's there. And when you're living in Pattaya, say, man, it's really tough to take the moral high ground and call everybody else out for doing. I mean, it's really, it just, the two are just incongruent.
Yeah. I mean,
They're just incongruent.
yeah, I have to say, I've seen a lot of changes come over Olongapo and Subic since the U.S. Navy has pulled out of there. And all the bars on Magsaysay are gone. There's a few bars in Barrio Barreto. I have a lot of friends that live there. And it's nothing like Pattaya. Pattaya in the Olongapo area are apples and oranges. And, I mean, you have to go out to Angeles City if you want a really good red light district. And they try to copy Pattaya, but I don't think they're as good as Pattaya, to tell you the truth. And so tell me, Steve, are you going to be heading back to Philippines anytime soon, or are you staying stateside? What's up with you?
No, I've been here for 2 weeks now. I had problems to take care of here at my house, and I'm actually going back next Friday.
Really? Okay, fantastic. Do you care to say where you'll be? I don't want to give you personal information, so I leave it up to you.
Well, I'll be in Dumaguete.
Okay,
I mean, Dumaguete is the home of the old white guy that's retired. So
white guy.
Me and the others with walkers will be, right there at the Wyandotte having a beer at 10 a.m.
How do you feel about that when they attack you on that level about your gray hair and your age?
Well, you know what? That's always the first insult. You're old. That's always the number one insult is you're old. I go, fuck, man. Okay, whatever. I'm highly insulted. What can I tell you? But yeah, that's always the number one attack.
Yeah. First, go ahead.
You're old. That's it. That's it starts there, and then the rest goes. You suck, and I don't like you because you don't think exactly the way I do. Because people are very narrow-minded. They have a tough time saying, well, everybody does it differently. If you don't think and act just like they do, then you get attacked. Nobody's allowed to do anything. And like I say, everybody takes the moral high ground when it comes to them. they're not doing anything wrong. It's the other guys that are the sexpats, not them.
So you're basically talking about what I call group speak. You know what I mean? They get their little group and they all have their talking points. You know, oh, this guy's old. They use a little identity politics, and when that doesn't pan out, they turn around and oh, you're a effing asshole. You're this, you're that, and then from there it goes further downhill. They attack your family, your friends, try and put you out of a job, all because of what you said on the internet. It's pretty freaking sad.
Well, and it's, YouTube is of course coming down on all this stuff really hard, and it's interesting the way that people have to actually tone it down, or they know that YouTube will, take offense to it and do something with the video. But it's also interesting the way that the entire thing is shifting more from the personal attacks to what you guys are doing, and to what like Twitchy is doing. It's like going after the e-beggars now. It's like the times are different. You can't do the same shit you used to do on YouTube. And it's more politically correct to go after the e-beggars now.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with going after the e-beggars. What do you think of what we've been doing here?
Well, I think if I could be a successful e-beggar, I would do it in a minute. But it's just not going to be a successful thing. Nobody's giving out money to support people in the Philippines or in Thailand. I mean, there's just not enough money to be. I mean, you got to constantly e-beg. I mean, Freakdom has to constantly e-beg. Constantly, I mean, listen, I've never watched any other live streams. It's not because I'm all dedicated to Dave and Aloe and all this. I was talking to Dave long before this shit started. And Aloe, I've said this to Aloe. Aloe's an agitator. Aloe likes to stir the pot. Aloe likes to take your hand and smile at you as you walk down the path before you drop into the big pool of shit, And then he smiles at you, he's looking back at you wistfully, and I'll miss you.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't have said it any better, man.
Aloe's a devious little fuck, but
yeah, he is.
But I get along okay with Aloe. I mean, he told the dog to rip my leg off, one day, and it was all good from then.
Yeah.
But I don't know you, Popeye. Popeye, right?
Yeah, Popeye.
Okay. I mean, I haven't spoken to you in the past, and like I say, Dave and Aloe. Dave is from the bet. It takes 2 days, and
yeah,
it just sort of morphed from there. But I have not listened to any other live streams because I really don't give a shit about guys' lives. I really don't care.
Yeah.
So whether I'm listening to, I hear you guys talking about Black American Expat and Big Kev and all that. I've never listened to them. I just don't listen. I mean, it's just I don't have time in life to sit there and listen to live streams.
You get tired of the blah blah blah.
Well, it's just too much. It's
yeah.
It's basically the live stream version of walking around the Philippines and putting a camera over your shoulder and saying, "Follow my day." It's just a live stream version of that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. He's a piece of shit. Blah blah. So, and I can't watch the videos anymore of the tourist destinations in the Philippines or the restaurant reviews. Who gives a shit? It's all the same.
They get friggin' old real quick, don't they?
I can't do it. I can't do it. The shit I'm putting out is just pap nowadays. I know that.
I can give you a little hint, Steve. Sometime when Chixie goes live, just watch it once. How she smiles into the camera, says, "Hi, boys," and all of a sudden you see the $5 donation come up, the $10 donation come up. "Hi, boys," and I have a little trick for her, man. All she's got to do is buy some popsicles. I'm telling you, the donation will come in really quick. Just eat a popsicle while you're smiling into the camera. And Steve, this is the shit that turns my stomach. Okay. And what I've also seen is these idiots who go to Philippines and reinvent themselves. Like this one guy, Santai 7, he's with Chixie. He's reinvented himself as a cholo, as a gangbanger. He was a fireman. He was this, he was that. Uh, and I'm like, oh my God. And then somebody on Discord showed me the truth about this guy, who he really is. And I'm like, it was night and day. you know?
But
And
the Philippines allows you to. The Philippines allows you to reinvent yourself, though. That's one of the good things about it.
but I see Steve Montelli. I don't see somebody else. You know, and I just see a guy going around the barrio. This is this. This is that. I've seen many few of your videos, and I've enjoyed them. And the one I enjoyed the most is when you were sitting at the table and you started talking about your age. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, you know, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, no fucking shit, right? Yeah, the guy's got gray hair. He's old.
Well,
So I mean, so does that knock you out of the competition? Does are we supposed to put you in a corner? You're old now. You're no good. Is that what we're supposed to do with you?
yeah, but that's what goes on in America.
Uh huh.
I mean, listen, I dealt in the elder care industry for years. I mean, I saw the whole thing. I saw how people, I saw what happens when you get old, and it's not a pretty thing.
Uh huh.
I mean, you're sitting there watching TV until the day you die. That's it, unless you get off your ass and actually go do something.
Yeah, and I see
And
you getting off your ass and doing something, which is pretty
and
cool.
many guys my age, and I don't know what your age is, but
I'll tell you
you know,
straight up, I'm 57 years old.
well, then you're in the class of guys that are going, well, what the fuck am I going to do? I mean, the career choices are now limited. You may have, run out the career. Maybe you're retired from the career, whatever. And you go,
Uh-huh.
well, what am I going to do now? And then you look around at the women that are available to you in the U.S. and you shudder a little bit. It's like, well, fuck, man, the Philippines allows you that second chance.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
mean, it just does. And whatever the reasons for the old and the young, together, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, and a lot of them are valid reasons, because an upper class Filipino is not going to be looking for an old white guy from America. They're not.
No, they're
I mean,
not.
they don't want it. There is some classism that goes on there. Yes, the Filipinos are friendly people, but there's a distinct difference between the foreigner population and the Filipino population.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is aware of that. And like I say, when you get to the upper classes and the doctors and the lawyers and all this shit, they're not looking for some old white guy from America.
No, they're
They're
not.
going to find another successful Filipino, because it's very nationalistic culture like everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
really, go ahead.
I have to say the one thing I really like about you is you're not like some of these other guys. I've seen them toddle off to Philippines and they buy some Grecian formula. It still doesn't hide their age. You know, I mean, yeah, I say grow old gracefully. I don't try to hide my age. I am what I am. That's why I've taken the moniker Popeye. Um, and I get tired. It's like this little idiot I got in the chat right now. Steve is just looking for a PYT, a pretty young thing. All right.
Wait. Hold on. The answer to
Uh-huh.
that is because I can't read the comments.
Okay, I read it for you.
I can't. The answer to that is, yeah. And so what else? I mean, that's it. I'm old and I'm looking for a pretty young thing. Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, fuck me. I mean, okay. What else you got?
And
I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing that this guy is telling the truth. I
yeah.
have got a girlfriend that's much younger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out hitting the bars. I'm with one girl. Is she younger than me? Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Okay, big fucking deal. What's next? You bring up the next one.
Well, see, that's a lot of the shit I try to get away from on the live stream. These guys, all they want to do is talk about these May December relationships. You know where I'm going with this now, Steve?
Well, it's just another
And
one taking the moral high ground when there's no moral high ground to take.
right. And I don't really give two shits about May December relationships. If that's what you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna do. It's up to you, as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of them bring this shit into the chat, and I kind of just try to ignore it. Like this guy Raymond, I believe he's out there in Angeles City. He's a Phil-Am. He gets butt hurt here and there. I don't know his whole story, but as far as I'm concerned, guys like him, he kiss my ass, and that's the way I see it.
Fuck.
You spill your coffee?
Yes, I did actually. I got this new little coffee maker that fucking there's still some coffee in it. God damn it.
Hell yeah, that's the first thing I say. That's sacrilege if you spill coffee, man.
Well, I'm gonna make another pot of coffee here because it's
There you
still
go.
early. But it's just, I find this entire moral outrage thing to be just incredible. I mean,
I think it's a joke, bro.
I mean, you're living in Pattaya and you got moral outrage. You're living in Angeles City and you got moral outrage. And there's nothing wrong with living in either of those places. And if you want to participate in the nightlife scene and all that, more power to you.
Yeah.
But god damn, man, hold the fucking moral outrage because I'm sure if anybody looks at your life, it's this whole sexpat thing is just ridiculous. I mean, I understand there's guys who go to Angeles City for, the short 2-week vacation or, Pattaya for a month or whatever. But it's like, you want to ask these guys, do you fuckers ever have sex at all? I mean, it's you talk about prostitutes and you're paying this, you're paying that. You don't think some guy living in the U.S. supporting the family? It's the same thing. And he's sick to death of a wife after 1 year. He'd do anything to have somebody else. Okay, I got to put a caveat. Not everybody's like that. For everybody that's going, you can't say that. Well, the whole sexpat thing is just, I mean, that's the insult they got. And it's like, I really want to ask, you fuckers ever have sex at all? I mean, are you priests? Well, then you'd be having sex with young boys, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, well, I think it's a case of some of these little twats living in a glass house and they're hurling stones. How about you, Aloe? Do you live in a glass house and hurl stones?
No, I really don't think so. But I want to tell you this. The reason why video freedom, to get back to the point here, the reason why video freedom is attacking all these vloggers as sexpats and so on and so forth is because he is using that as a weapon to discredit these vloggers in the eyes of the community. It's his strategy. He doesn't really care what you do in Pattaya or in Angeles. The reason why he said don't go to the Philippines is because he sees himself on a mission to prevent people to go to the Philippines because he wants to damage the Philippines. He doesn't want people to go to the Philippines because he had such a bad experience over there in the Philippines. And that's the true reason why he is attacking all these vloggers. I do remember that he made this comment, don't go to the Philippines because it's a dangerous place. People will kidnap you. There are terrorists everywhere. There are Islamic terrorists blowing up hotels and buses and so on and so forth. And everything you read in the news, he takes it out of context and says, look, I told you so. It's kind of like saying there was a typhoon in the Philippines and people die. And then he would come up and say something like, don't go to the Philippines. It's very dangerous because you could die in the typhoon. Then the next thing that happens is a train derails in the Philippines, LRT, MRT, and he would take that news and say, don't use public transportation in the Philippines because you might die. And if there is a martial law, he takes it out of context and says the Duterte administration is against this and that, and you are risking your life when you're going to the Philippines. Go over to Thailand. It's the paradise on earth. So it's kind of like Philippines bashing on a totally different level. He hates the
Mhm.
Philippines. He hates Filipinas. And the reason why, and I think that's the most important message of today, is because he got screwed over by
Now,
different bar girls at a very young age.
But
When
can I
he
where did
give
went,
that?
can I give everybody a little advice here? Let me give you some advice. All right, listen to this closely, Alan. You're gonna love this. Okay. Okay, everybody. If you go to Philippines and yeah, and if you go to Philippines and you hook up with a bar girl and it's your first time in Philippines, you're gonna have a bad day. Yeah, and if you go to Philippines and you fly into Marawi and it's your first time, bro, you're gonna have a bad day. What do you think, Allo? Okay.
no, but this is basically all you need to know. And he has perfectionized this Philippines bashing because nobody is as hateful as Video Freedom. Nobody has done these attacks so vile the way he did it. And that's really what you need to know about Video Freedom. He is a hateful, bitter man, and he is somebody who doesn't want people to go over there because he takes every little thing out of context and turns it into something else and uses it to bash the Philippines expat community, to bash the Philippines president, to bash Filipino people, particularly women. And the
Mhm.
reason is, and that's all you really need to know about these guys, because he went to Angeles as a young guy, maybe a bit naive, maybe a bit innocent, I do not know, but he got screwed over big time. I'm telling you, I give you an example. He once mentioned it on one of his various live streams, and I was actually one of the three guys listening to his live streams back in the days. He was talking about doing some shadow boxing in his hotel, and this idiot. Uh, Injured himself. He cut open his hand because he smashed his hand into the fucking mirror or glass. And what happened is, back in the day, when Uncle is out there in the province, he went to a fucking hospital and they didn't have the right medical supply. He had to buy everything, and they really didn't care much about him. And he felt like, man, where am I here? I mean, it's I'm bleeding out of my hand. I cut my hand open. I am now the guy who needs to come up with all the medical supplies. I need to send people out there to buy all my stuff. And he really had a rough time in the Philippines. And since then, he he never recovered. It is pure hate that he feels against these against the people of the Philippines, and you can hear it when you listen to his live streams. It's like they, this is a guy who was calling for the extermination of all Indians and of all Chinese people because there are basically too many Chinese and too many Indian people on this planet, and so on and so
Before
forth.
you go further down the line, Aloe, let me tell you a little story. Okay? 1991, I was on Gordon Avenue, sitting in the Lollipop Bar having a beer. I had like three or four Filipinas around me, and I was buying them drinks. And one of them was pregnant, right? And right then and there, her water broke. And she had to go to the hospital. And I said to the girl next to me, I says, "Come on, we'll throw her in my car and we'll take her over to the hospital." And the girl said, "No, no, no, no. She'll go on a trike. You pull up there on a car and pull her out, and you know, they're going to give Cano prices, right?" And the reason why I tell this story, right, because people say to me, "Well, you ain't been in the Philippines for over 20 years. What the fuck do you know?" Right? That comes out of the Big Kevin No Bullshit show, right? And all his little fucking trolls. Well, you just told me a story about video freakdom, how he cut his hand, he had to buy all his supplies, he got all butt hurt because, you know, they didn't give a shit about him, which is pretty funny because, yeah, and I've told that story on my live stream that I just told everybody again. And oh my God, Aloe, am I right? It hasn't changed much, has it?
It
Right?
hasn't. It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
That's how medicine is done in the Philippines. You buy it or you don't get treated.
When you go to a fucking shithole hospital, that's how it is. And he went to a
Uh
fucking shithole hospital, and that's the problem with these guys. They have a very limited experience of what is going on in the Philippines. This topic just came up in the live chat. They were mentioning this Micto guy, Terry, in Ohio, who hates Filipinas because he obviously had a very bad experience with one. And I ask you honestly, you guys have seen Terry, the guy has no teeth, the guy has no style, the guy has no personality to speak of. What did he expect? Why would somebody marry a guy like him? Of course, it's because of the fucking green card. I mean, does this guy not have a mirror at home? Can
so
he not afford it?
you're talking
Of
about the
course.
dentally challenged crew now?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
these guys, I mean, why would a woman be, why does a woman wanna, why would a woman be with somebody like that? Of course they will get cheated. And look at Video Freedom. He's the same type of guy. When you go to a place where women work because they look at it as a shortcut, they want to make money, they are not there to meet their sweetheart, their love, their life. That's not how it is.
They're there to
If it,
provide a service, correct, Al?
yeah, exactly. It's a certain type of women, and it is normal that they get screwed over by these women. It is normal that they will get cheated by these women because these women want something from these guys. But let's be honest, these guys also want something from these women. It's like um, two people with two totally different intentions meet in a very strange place. It's an accident. I I mean, it is something that it is normal that it won't work out. It won't work out. And now we got Miss Heminger in the live chat. I don't think it's the real Miss Heminger, but if it is, tell your boss. We got all the info, pictures, addresses, phone numbers, and so on and so forth. You got 75 people watching right now. Welcome to Riff Raff Radio. Absolutely cool. I think there's one of the biggest numbers that we ever had on this show. Is that correct, Popeye?
That is correct. Riff Raff Radio, WTF,
Uh,
kid, best show.
Aloe, Aloe,
Yes,
Popeye,
sir.
why don't you invite Video Freedom on the show right now? I'm sure somebody can get to him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He would not come to this show. And you know why? Because he would say, I will not come on this show because they have to come to me. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, I tried my best to get this guy on a live stream. Why? Because he was bragging about debating anyone, anytime on any show, including you, Steve, and he actually challenged you to a debate. And once we got back to him through Jay Real Deal, he never replied. I followed up and said, "Hey, Jay, did Video Freedom already reply? Did you ask him?" And he said, no, I didn't get any reply, but I will try again. And that was many months ago, and we never heard of him again, and at the end of the day, what is there to debate anyway? This guy is a clown who claims that he made live streams big in the Philippine vlogosphere. The guy is a joke. The guy is an absolute joke. And I know how upset he gets when you don't give him the credit that he thinks he deserves. Because there is really nothing you need to know other than this is a guy who is frustrated, who got screwed over by some bar girl. A young bar girl somewhere up there in Ankara City has broken his heart. And then what little Aaron did is he made an account on YouTube and started to moan and bitch about how bad people are in the Philippines. It's absolutely pathetic. And you know what? He is not the only one. There is a growing number of losers who are hanging out with all these e-beggars, which is also something that you see now, the e-beggars, which are basically criminals. And then you get the guys nobody wants to be with. They are all on the same channels. They leave comments to each other and say, hey, this is a nice video. That was a cool video. That was nice. I want to give you an example. There is this guy, he claims to be some sort of a big shot, Chicago trader. And then there's the other guy, John Doe, very controversial commenter, goes on live streams and so on and so forth. And if you don't agree with John Doe, or if you agree with him, it's not really a big deal. But the thing here is, and I found that very lame actually, is that this blogger made fun of John Doe, and he used vlogs where he was riding around in a tricycle in Ormoc City, and he actually really thought that would be something John Doe would be jealous about. I really don't know. And first I thought, is this really serious? I mean, is he really serious about this? Does he really think that this is the way to provoke somebody? Because it's pathetic. No, this guy is spending his time sitting in a Dunkin' Donuts. He calls it people watching in Ormoc City. And there's absolutely nothing cool about it. There's nothing to be jealous about it. It's
Well, you
just
know what it
lame.
boils down to, LOD. This is a guy. I know who you're talking about. He wears wings, okay, and he self-grandizes himself, and he's never really been anywhere. So, you know, gotta cut him a slack. He's a newbie, Aloe. He's wow. I'm somewhere. This is great. You know, a trike ride. Let me tell you about a trike ride, Aloe. We back in the day we used to race trikes up to Subic City and give the driver 100p just for the ride of our life. But, and it was nothing but
Hmm.
sheer, you know, sheer fun and being young and having a great time. But dude, you're telling me you're this big time trader, used car salesman, whatever the fuck you do, and you're
You know,
riding around in
let,
the
let,
Philippines on a trike, really?
the thing is this. Look, there's nothing, and let me be very clear about it. There's nothing wrong riding a tricycle.
No, not at all.
There's nothing wrong being a cheap Charlie. That's absolutely not the point. Sometimes you can't afford, you try
Mhm.
to make the best out of it. But what is pathetic and lame is that you portray yourself as a guy who knows everything better. You give financial advice to people. You tell the world about your life story, how successful you are, and you belittle people who actually know a lot more about the Philippines than yourself, which is normal because John Doe is a guy who has been traveling to the Philippines for many years now. He knows the
Been doing
people
it
in the
what, 30
Philippines,
years?
and
30
more
years?
than that, yeah,
Yeah.
around that. And you can't compete with somebody like that when you just go to the Philippines a couple of times and then you get engaged and then you marry somebody whom you just met online. It's just not possible. And the last thing you should do is try to provoke that person or try to attack that person with tricycle riding vlogs in Ormoc City. Because if you want to troll somebody, at least try to go to a nice hotel and eat the big steak, or rent a nice SUV and go up there to Mount Mayon, or show your first class cabin on the super ferry, and then you say something to John Doe. But
Yeah, do it right.
don't use a fucking tricycle ride on your 3 weeks vacation, because this is the same guy who said, and I quote, "I did not work so hard to be where I am now, to
Oh.
lose or waste my time with people like John Doe." And this is the language of somebody who would usually be some sort of a big shot. And then here you come and you put out vlogs riding a tricycle, sitting in the Dunkin' Donuts in Ormoc City, and that's all you got? Really? That's all you got? It's
Let
pathetic.
me
And
let
it's
me ask
lame.
Steve. Let me ask Steve a question here, Al. Yes, hey, Steve.
Yeah.
What's the first time you ever dumped into PI, and what was your first impression?
What was the first time? I don't know. It was like 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, just swag it.
My first
Scientific law.
impression, I
That's
mean,
good.
when the first time you land there in Manila, you're just overwhelmed by, especially the cab situation.
Uh
So
huh.
I, like everyone else, the first time got screwed by the private taxis because I didn't know the difference.
Hmm.
I didn't know that it didn't cost 900 pesos to go a mile. Shit. So I mean, my impression is I was there to meet somebody and I was going to go meet her.
Okay. All
My
right.
impression my impression overall is it's a lot like Mexico. It's a lot like if Mexico was in America, because it's a very Americanized place.
Uh huh.
But it's got a lot of the features of Mexico too. The poverty and the. But my impression
Spanish
is
influence.
I don't have any. I don't have any great negative impression of the Philippines. I don't have a great positive impression either. I mean, once you're there for a while, it just becomes life is normal, and it's like
Yeah. Huh.
the place has got problems. I mean, there's no idyllic life going on there. Yeah, it's got a lot of problems. It's not horrible. I mean, yeah, it is horrible for a lot of the Filipinos.
Yeah, I would say it was horrible for a lot of the e-baiters too, because dude, go on over and watch a live stream of Chixie in the warehouse she lives in, and her shit hanging on the windows, and showing her 22 peso makeup kit that she got on her haul. I mean, I, I mean, and here's something I want everybody to do. Okay. And this is a really good lesson for you all. I want you to take a look at Ren Zero's earliest videos and really look at him. Okay. And then I want you to flash forward to his latest video and look at him again. I mean, really look at him. Now, I'm not saying insult him. I'm not saying, pick on him for his looks, but compare the two, the before and after. Okay? I see, this is what I see in the before. I see a fairly young guy, okay? Uh, average, average looks, probably get any Filipina he wants. Good for him. Now I look at him. He's lost a lot of weight. He's gained a lot of years after a lot of red horses and a lot of bad food. Okay? And I will put this out there to you younger bucks out there. This is what happens to you when you go to Philippines and you drink a lot of Red Horse. I'm not saying he's an alcoholic, but you're drinking every day. You're eating shit food. You're living in the heat. You're going to age real quick. real quick. This is not making it in the Philippines because all the money that you e-bagged is now going to have to go for medical bills. Okay, because I don't know if you're an alcoholic. I don't know any of that shit. But I know you drink a lot of Red Horse. I know you eat a lot of shit food. So sooner or later, that's going to lead to cirrhosis of the liver or alcoholism or renal failure. And oh yeah, I've seen people go into renal failure in Philippines, expats living there so long, eating shit food, shit water, um, take a shower once in a blue moon. I mean, prime example. Take a look at the beginning videos of Peter Van Dever and the ending videos of Peter Van Dever, where he has sores on his head, big bloated gut, and that's not from eating good. When you're not eating good, that's what happens. You know, your gut bloats, your arms get twiggy, your legs get twiggy. These are the things you face in Philippines. But these people, Aloe, say they have made it. Um, what do you think, Aloe? Have they made it?
Um, the only guy who really made it in the Philippines is myself to start with, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to fucking agree with that, man. I'm gonna have to agree
but
with that,
but
Aloe.
but let me
I mean,
on a
Aloe,
more
I'm not worthy, Aloe. I'm not worthy. I'm not
on a
worthy.
more serious note here, no,
Uh,
he didn't, because that's actually what Chixie said. Everybody is just envious of his success in the Philippines.
mhm.
Everybody has to work hard and pay bills and debts. I don't know why working hard and paying your bills is something that she attacked. I
Well,
think that's a
that's
very
repulsive,
honorable.
man. That's repulsive
Yeah, but it says a lot,
for the
because it was like
non-worker. That's what. Yeah.
impulsive statement. I would call it. It just slipped out of her mouth, uh, or actually out of her fingers when she was typing this. What is wrong with working hard? What is wrong with paying your bills and your debts? What is wrong with that, right? Because that is nothing that you mock. That is nothing that you are making fun of, because most of our subs actually are people who work in the US and in Europe and Australia, and they pay taxes, they contribute to society in various ways. And then on the other side, and that's where my problem is, you get people like them, freeloaders. I would like to mention two comments, and it came from the same guy. Um, Raymond here, one of my favorite commenters in this
Mr. Butt,
genre.
Mr.
He
Butthead.
said, yeah, Mr. Butter, he said two things that are very interesting, and I would like to take a closer look at this statement. Earlier, he said there is nothing wrong with e-begging because it's these other people's money. They are contributing or giving away their own money. So I would like to discuss that one. Is it really none of our business, or do we have some sort of a responsibility to talk about people who are actually just pretending that they have heart attacks?
Let me
Or
answer that question before you read the other question.
please go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Uh, I do. I have a responsibility? Probably not. Can I say something about it? Can I do something about it? Is it ethically and morally wrong? In my eyes, yes. Okay. Um,
What's the point? What
and
he is saying, let me just tell you this. What he is saying is, why does it disturb you so much when people give their money to these e-beggars? Because it's basically none of your business. The thing is, you could turn that around and say, why does it disturb him when we talk on this show about them and about other people throwing away their money
maybe he's getting
to
a
them?
cut. Maybe
It's
he's getting
exactly
a
it's
cut.
exactly the same, because I
Huh?
can talk about whatever I want on this channel here. So what is it to him,
Hmm.
right? I mean, at the end of the day, we all are entitled to our opinions. Thing is, some opinions are just are just wrong. It's not an opinion when you say the Earth is flat, right? It's just stupid. We got 80 plus people listening right now. There's a second statement that he made
Hmm.
about Jerry the Fairy, and he directed that to John Doe. Raymond, the thing is this. I think you do not understand that Jerry, when he teases John on these vlogs, he always pretends that he is happy and smiling. But I know how Jerry is when he is not on these live streams and when he is not on his vlogs, when he is angry about John Doe, when he is upset about John Doe. And he never really shows that because it would be a sign of weakness that it really gets to him. I am over there on Discord, and on Discord, I have the position as a moderator given to me by the guy who actually started the Philippines Expat Discord channel, or whatever you want to call it. And I was contacted by Jerry and said, I want John Doe to be blocked over there on Discord because I can't take it any longer. I thought that this Discord would be a safe place for me, a sanctuary for me, away from all these comments John Doe is making. And he was basically blackmailing us over there and said, if John Doe will not be blocked, I'm gone. And that's the real Jerry, where he's not so cool anymore, where he doesn't take things uh, lightly anymore, where he's really offended by what John Doe does. And what John Doe really does is he rubs it into Jerry's face, the fact that he makes him feel like a fool because everybody knows that Jerry is not an expert. Jerry is a guy who just flew over to the Philippines, chatted a bit, got married, went back, and now he talks about giving advice about the Philippines and so on and so forth. And if you look at it as a teasing each other, it's absolutely not like that. You can ask John Doe here.
I think it's
This is
quite
not
childish.
it is childish, and it's not about an inside joke or something like that. It's not about an inside joke. It's him trying to make John Doe feel jealous. It's kind of like saying, look, I'm in the Philippines. Look, I'm enjoying my vacation. Look, I'm trying to be funny. Look, I'm trying to be this up and coming vlogger, bringing you reviews about hotels and showing you some street scenes in Ormoc, taking the super ferry and so on and so forth. And then there's this other guy, Terry, who leaves Jerry comments like, nice vlog, great vlog, interesting vlog. It's kind of like, look, I'm here, I'm showing you my support. It's basically like all the losers come together and pretending that they have some sort of a good time, that they are a group of people who are enjoying their life
Well, you
and
know
so
where
on and
this
so
all
forth.
stems from, don't you? This,
No, you
this,
tell me.
this all stems from the Big Kevin No Bullshit show and the Big Kevin Bullpen show. This is where you will find all the trolls. You will find these guys like Jerry the Fairy, where my reputation is so important that I can't do that show. And you will hear blah, 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 and a lot of pontificating. And it all comes out of that show. Right? And Raymond, Mr. Butthurt, is part of that shit and enables that shit. Right? Raymond, let me give you a clue, buddy. You're Phil Lamb. You're what we call dust in the wind. You're of neither world. Right? And I'm tired of you. And I'm about ready to block your ass. I'm
Oh, the
sick of
problem.
your
Look, the,
shit.
the problem. The problem with Raymond is this: he is, uh, how should I say? He has a problem with the things we say on this live stream. He has made that very clear. He
Mhm.
is he is upset about certain things that I have said on episode 3 or 4, and
Hmm.
probably also on this show here. And he actually also admitted that at least Jerry is not making idle threats and so on and so forth, admitting that yes, Jerry is not an expert. Yes, John Doe is right about teasing him, that and letting Jerry feel stupid about uh,
Check it out. Check it out.
his
Just like
blogs, and about his tricycle rides in Ormond City, because
yeah.
you just look at it, and that is something you don't do, when if you wanna make somebody feel how should I say, jealous, or tease somebody, you should use something else. It's just very lame. And
Hmm.
yes, Raymond was right when he said that he wants people to see, look, I am in the Philippines.
Hmm.
I am staying in this place, and then in that place, and that's all it is. And it takes a lot more to impress people. It takes a lot more to make them feel jealous. And it was just what I would call a pathetic attempt to provoke John Doe, because I know Jerry. I have spoken with Jerry many times. Every time there was a live stream, he would call me up on FB and on Hangouts, and we would talk a bit about what was going on these live streams. And he has so many comments. And one of the thing is that he really doesn't like John Doe, and he doesn't really show that this anger on these live streams. But I have all the screenshots, and I will keep it to myself. But
Uh-huh.
it is the truth. It is just the truth. He came over to Discord and said, now that John Doe is there, I want him to be blocked. And that,
Hmm.
that says a lot. And now, since we are talking about the fairy, he is the same guy who sabotaged this channel here, Riff Raff Radio, 5 to 6 hours before we were going
Live.
live. We were about to go live. He
Hmm.
just took it down because there were three guys who had the password to this channel, and it was Roberto Dunn and I by that time, and him. And he said he doesn't want to be on this channel because he is worried about his image. That says a lot about him, because we, all the three of us, we spoke to each other and said, hey, if we have a problem with each other, it's open communication. We can't do that on a live stream. We can't look bad out there and start to quarrel about certain things. We will talk like grown men and sort things out.
You know,
And what
Elo.
he did is
You
just
know,
he took
Elo.
it down, and that is very lame. That is very lame.
You know, Elo. I used to have a problem with John Doe, a serious problem with him. But then I started talking to him on Discord, and I didn't insult him. I asked him intelligent questions. He finally come around, asked me intelligent questions, and then I got to understand him. Then we come to a mutual agreement. I don't agree with everything he says. He is a lot of tongue in cheek, okay? And he says things off the cuff without thought, but he's really not a bad guy. And guys like Raymond get butthurt over him, okay, because they're half Filipino and they're half American, and they don't know what world they live in. Some of these Bill Amps, right?
I think
And
it's I think
I
it's
will tell you the
Raymond
honest to
is full
God
blooded.
truth. That's why they call them dust in the
Yeah.
wind.
I think Raymond is full blooded Filipino, but he grew up in the U.S. That's what I heard, because there are a couple
Oh,
of guys out there who have met him a couple of months ago, a couple of vloggers. But let me tell you this about John. I absolutely agree with what you said, Popeye. John Doe is a guy. Uh, Many people don't agree with what he says, and I don't agree with most things he says. But what I like about him is the fact that he doesn't really care about his image. He doesn't adjust his opinion to what other people might think of him, because there are a lot of people here. They would just say one thing on a live stream, and then they say something totally different on Hangouts or on FB Messenger. And that is something that I have seen so many times in this community. They will come on the show and say, this guy is, I like his vlogs. This is a great guy. And then on the other side, they will say something totally different. And John Doe is not a guy like that. He says it like it is, in a way, like it's based on his experience. It's based on what he has been through. It's based on his views, and his views are often not uh, what people want to hear, and people get offended about it. And there are really statements that I have heard from him where I say this is absolutely absurd, this is stupid, or this is very one-sided. But at the end of the day, you got to respect the fact that he is not afraid to speak his mind, and that is what lacks in this community. That's exactly the type of people that these people are very interesting to talk to. These are the people you want to have on these live streams. These are the people are discussing about. And then you got the other group of people. They always just try to stay very diplomatic. They play it safe. They say a lot, but they are so afraid to be unpopular in this community. And that's the difference here. So I rather prefer people like John Doe than a guy who just pretends to be nice and talks shit in the background.
Yeah, well, like me, I'm a spoiled little prick, Aloe. I like my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Let's see, my Louis Richard watches. Quite a few other things. I like to own. I don't like to rent. Okay, and simple as that. Steve, you got my coffee ready yet, bro?
No, but I've on my second cup, and I'm making some scrambled eggs right now.
Good for you. Good for you.
God damn, man. When we're not talking about me, I just generally lose interest. So
yeah, I hear you. I mean, everybody wants it to be all about them.
Exactly. So if you're not talking about me, I'm like somewhere else. I hear your voice, but I don't know what you're saying.
You just hear blah blah blah, right?
Yeah. If you're not talking about me, then I'm like, interest.
There were a couple of guys, Popeye, who wanted to send out the link to John. I mean, can you manage that? Can you send him the link
to John Doe? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Will you, John Doe, if you want to come on, Popeye will send you the link, and then you can ask Steve a few questions. I think that will be interesting. Let's see what happens. We have 70 plus people listening to this right now. And yeah, Raymond is absolutely right. John Doe can say whatever he wants to say, and you can type whatever you want to type. So nothing wrong with that, right?
What is it that John Doe has done wrong? I mean, I've never listened to him, so I don't know. What is it he's
John
done wrong?
The most controversial statement that I have heard from him is he said Filipinos are only good for this and that, and to many people it sounded racist, I would say sexist, and so on and so forth.
It just sounded terrible.
It didn't really sound good to many people. And I don't agree with what he said. I think it was a stupid comment, but I felt, look, this is his opinion, and nobody should get butthurt about it. It turned him into one of the bad boys of the community. I mean, he took quite a beating after that, but I think he never really cared about it, and he stood his ground and came back. And some people really appreciate his comments.
I have to say, he did pop right back up after that beating. It was brutal over that comment. It was friggin' brutal. Okay, many people got on his ass. But Steve, let's make this about you, buddy.
Exactly. Now you're talking.
All right, let's make this about you, because in the comments they're saying, Steve, let your guests they're saying, let your guests talk, right? So we're going to let you talk. What, I got a really good question for you here. What is irritating you the most about this community right now?
I think it's kind of dead. I think the whole YouTube thing is dead. I mean, there's an interesting thing that the demographics, there's this demographic that we're in, the 40 to 60 to whatever demographics that all this stuff's going on in. But there's the whole 20 and 30-year-old demographic that are just out there doing great videos. But they're showing it to their generation. This is a very small demographic we're dealing with right here. And the whole YouTube thing, I think, is just, I mean, there's no more malls to see. There's no more restaurants to review. There's no more hotels to do. So what's left, all there is left is the drama.
Do you think that's what people want, the drama, Steve?
I don't, you know what? I don't
They
know.
love it. They need it. They want it.
I don't know anymore. I mean, I just find the whole YouTube experience kind of just, it's almost like tiring anymore. I mean, it's just silly. It's just crap,
Okay, Steve, let's make this more about you. We have John Doe here. All right, and I want to make this more about Steve Montelli. Okay?
And the drama. Don't forget the drama.
Don't forget the drama.
Freaking drama. John Doe, you got the floor, bro. All right, ask Steve what you want to ask Steve.
How you doing, everybody? How you doing, Steve?
Hey, John.
Yeah, I don't hate you because you blocked me from your comments, but that's okay.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
What'd you say?
I probably disagreed with you, and that's why you blocked me.
No,
I think you blocked me on the on your vlog with the how much do you pay your Filipina and how much do you pay her family? Those one of those two.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, one of those two. Did you ever come to a conclusion on that? How much do you pay your Filipina? Did you ever?
No, Matt. There was no conclusion on anything like that. There just never is a conclusion. The money is going to flow from your pocket to their pocket.
What about to their family? Any conclusion on that one?
It could be. I think if you're going to give your Filipina money, then you really can't tell her how it should be spent unless she's going out and buying shabu with the whole thing.
Oh, so all right. Then I misunderstood that. So that wasn't in reference to you basically giving or people giving money directly to the girl's family.
No, not really. I mean, every guy that has a Filipina is going. I mean, every guy that has a Filipina, the money is only flowing in one direction, from the guy to the Filipina. He's paying for everything. I mean,
right. Well, that goes without saying. You're not going to starve the girl out. I mean, that goes without saying. So what did you mean about giving her money and giving her family money? They shouldn't starve either. Is what
only that. If you're involved with this girl, one of this girl's primary motivations in life is to provide for her family. Hence, if you're going to give her money, some of that money may flow into the direction of the family. Let's say that you've got your little girlfriend and she was working at the mall. She was working at SM department store. And she was making a certain amount of money. And lots of the guys that want to go over there, they want the girl to quit and all this. Well, you're directly impacting the funding of the family. So if you give her money and she gives it to her family, you can't get too pissed off. If you're going to give the money, then just give the money and, let her do whatever with it, unless she's doing something really bad with it. But how much to pay the family, it's not a matter of how much to pay the family. It's that they're going to make money. She is going to still provide for them one way or another.
So you're saying you should whatever money she was making while working, if she stopped working to be with you, you should compensate her that salary.
Not at all. I'm saying that all I'm saying is that if you're with a Filipina, she is not going to be paying the bills in the house. You are, and she is going to support her family. Still, even though she's with you, she's going to support her family in some way. So if you're going to give her money, don't get upset when some of that money may flow to the family, because that's how it's going to go.
All right, let me
yeah.
jump in here a minute. All right, I hear every time I hear what you're saying, John, and I hear what you're saying, Steve. So I'm going to tell you, I went on this website that was recommended by a Philippine blogger. I won't say the person's name. It's called Christian Filipino. So I went on it and I started checking out all these different Filipinos, and they're like really into God and stuff like that. But they all had one thing in common, which I've noticed. And they said in their descriptions that I am a family oriented person and I like to take care of my family. All right, guys, go. Continue your conversation.
Well, that is not a controversial thing you just said. That's it. They will take care of their families. It doesn't, you call it Christian, you call it, whatever name you want to call it. I'm a Christian. Yeah, everybody claims to be a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But the money will flow to their family. What you said, I don't think it's controversial at all. They want to take care of their families, and that's just the culture.
How do you feel about that, John? Do you stop that with your girl, or?
Well, as far as the girls given to their families, that's not universal. It seems to be a little bit more universal if you're dealing with the oldest female.
Okay.
Usually, the oldest female takes that on to be the supporter of the family, and the guys and the younger siblings get a free ride. Generally,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
they get a free ride.
How do you feel about that, Aloe? That I mean, you're Filipino, right? You're Pinoy. Is this true? What they're saying? Does this upset you? Does it make you feel uncomfortable?
What do you mean by that? Does it make me feel uncomfortable? What was the statement?
I love the way
Because
you say that.
because I was actually chatting with Evil Aloe and I wanted him to come on the show, and he just said bad internet connection, and he might come on the show another time. And Evil Aloe, by the way, is one of the top 10 trolls the Philippine YouTube community has.
So get
Up
back to
there
my
with
question.
Hedra. But
Answer
let's
my
get back to
question.
your. Let's begin. What was your question all about again? Ask me again.
We're talking about the oldest Filipina taking care of the family, and they're saying how it goes on between a Kano and a Filipina, where the money flows to the from the Kano to the Filipina to the family. All right, and I was wondering, does that kind of talk about straight up, does that make you feel uncomfortable being a Filipino
No,
yourself?
no,
Uh,
absolutely not.
do you
Absolutely not. Because
agree?
I could that. No, absolutely not.
Disagree
Because
with it?
no, it doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. And the question of agree or disagree is also very complicated because in some,
Uh-huh.
everything they say, there are families who do it that way. It's based on their experience, and it's true. And then there are others
Uh-huh.
who might take it as an offense, and they might feel offended about it, and they say it's not true, and so on and so forth. And that this took place. I mean, Roberto is a film, and he took this really personal when John Doe said certain things, and
Uh-huh.
in my case, I look at it in a different way, and we both are in his case Filipino American, in my case Filipino European, and we look at it in a different way, and
Okay,
I think
fair enough.
that's
You give me a fair answer.
but being offended is not something that it really takes a lot. I just saw that Twitchy showed up in the live chat. Can anyone try to contact him and send him out the link one more time?
Uh-huh. Twitchy, you have the link on your Facebook page, the Reluctant Nomad. All right. Just click on the link and come on, and you're more than welcome. It's good to see you're here. All right. You must have had a rough night last night. You're out there having a good time. I hope so. But let's make this a little bit more about Steve Montelli because
Yes. Now, okay. I wasn't listening, and I heard my name. I can listen
Steve,
again.
okay.
What happened to your current girlfriend? She's not cooking for you over there.
What happened to my current girlfriend? Nothing. I'm still with her.
Oh, she doesn't
I'm
live
still
with you.
with her.
She doesn't live with you. You're saying?
Yeah, she does. She does. We got an apartment in Dumagetti.
Oh, all right. Is she,
current.
is she finished? Is her medical care completed?
Oh no, you're talking about Joy.
No. The other one wasn't she in the hospital too?
Oh yeah, but that's just she got the wrong antibiotic. That's all. Oh no, you're talking about Joy.
No. The other one wasn't she in the hospital too?
Oh yeah, but that's just she got the wrong antibiotic. That's all.
All right.
You're talking about Joy.
Yeah. No. The other one wasn't
all
she?
Right. Guys, I'd like to introduce somebody here.
Antibiotic. That's all.
All right.
You're talking about Joy. This thing is repeating and repeating. What the fuck's going on?
Twitchy, start your
Just in
YouTube
case you missed the question the first time. No.
This thing is
Gentlemen. Gentlemen.
What the fuck's going on?
Gentlemen, I would like to welcome our new guest on the show here, which is Twitchy in Thailand. He just came on the panel. I would like to welcome our new guest. Okay, yeah, I think you guys need to welcome our new guest. You need to mute your
YouTube.
Yeah, you need to mute your mute, else you get the double sound.
Well, I don't have my YouTube going, and it was working fine before 5 minutes ago.
I was talking to the new guest here, Twitchy in Thailand. He just came on the panel, and I heard myself. I mean, there was an echo sound.
So how you doing, Twitchy?
What the hell?
Oh, all right.
I think you're sorting things out. Usually takes a while until everything's ready. But you just need to mute your YouTube, but not here on the Hangouts link on in the control room here. And then you should be all right.
Yeah, he muted his Hangouts.
He muted his Hangouts. He has to mute the YouTube.
Yeah.
No, YouTube is done.
Okay, yeah, now we can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Okay, you got me okay? I had to unplug the mic and plug it back in.
Yeah, no, now it's perfect. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Riff Raff Radio. How are you?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Horny.
So Twitchy, I understand you come on here to talk a little bit about a blogger named Video Freedom, Aaron Wilson, and your trials and tribulations with this sack of shit. So how about you tell us a little bit of what the latest is going on?
You mean Aaron Wilson, PhD?
Right. You got it.
Don't forget the PhD in alternative medicine, okay? Do not forget that.
Pretty hilarious dipshit is what he is.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is he's over the top. I mean, he has his moments where he's fairly lucid, and then he has like the rest of the time where he's I don't think he's mentally stable. I really don't. But ever since he started to attack me, I decided I'd fight back a little bit, So I just.
What did he attack you about?
Oh, Jesus Christ! It started last year when he showed up in Pattaya and started hanging out with with the grandpa monger, Kevin Thailand, and going to the Wednesday night meetups, and they were quite close for a while. I did 1 or 2 interviews with Aaron. God, it's been over a year ago when I was still in Chiang Mai, and then and I was pretty sure at the time, maybe you guys could help me out with this, but I was pretty sure that he had to be back somewhere in the Philippines. He explained his horrible internet, saying that he was in the United States and he had some horrible internet connection there. But I found that really hard to fucking believe. I think he was in a PI somewhere.
I
What do
think
you-
he
I'm
was
not-
back in the PI trying to get revenge on that girl that took him for a ride. What do you think?
Aaron does his vlogs, I think, via cell phone. His connection
was
is
in-
never good. He never
This
has
is
a good
this
connection.
is this is what we found out. He was actually somewhere in Nevada, and he was in a gym. He must have been working in a gym, because there were a couple of guys, really skilled guys. They took sound bites, and then they listened really closely, and then they sent it over to me, and they told me, look, he must be in a gym, because do you hear this sound? Do you hear that sound? There was a clock. There were certain instruments that they use in a gym. You would hear a woman talk in the background asking about certain things, and they were really sure it must have been somewhere in the States, because I don't think that he came back to the Philippines for decades now. I think the last time he was in the Philippines must have been in the early 90s.
Yeah, he said it. I could tell because he knew he was in the military. He was in the Air Force, or he was in Olongapo, or he was in Clark at some point in the 90s. Because I could just tell based on some of the things he said about the good old days, and the different type of expats he was mentioning at one point that were in the Philippines. I'm like, yeah, he's about my age. He's in his mid to late 40s, and yeah, I think he's a veteran. I think he's on some sort of retirement or disability, but I'm pretty sure he's a veteran.
I think what I heard, he was with the National Guard,
No,
but I'm not
if he was in the
100%
guard,
sure about that. Yeah.
if he was in the guard, he wouldn't be familiar with the Philippines. Only active duty guys. He may have been.
He said he worked for a contractor. That's if you can believe it. He said he was working for a military contractor.
Not
Well,
in the 90s, guys. Not in the 90s. He was there right before Pinatubo erupted. That was the impression I got based on before. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, about that time. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. He
Okay,
mentioned that.
I was there in Philippines before and during Tubo, and I have to say honestly, yeah, we did have some contractors there that actually worked with me on the Naval Magazine, but they were well vetted contractors, and they were tough jobs to get.
in the
Yeah,
night, the number of contractors at Clark or Subic or
Yeah.
in the Longapo area was nothing like what we have. In the
Now, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm trying to point out here. It was a very tough job gig to get.
Yes,
And you had to have really top security clearance. So if he was Air Force, I highly doubt he was Navy. Usually all the assholes came out of Clark, the Air Force fuckers. I learned real quick, especially when their base got leveled and they come over to the Subic side base and we had to put them up. I found out what spoiled fucking idiots they were. All right. And this fits right in with the Aaron Wilson thing of being a spoiled fucking idiot who thinks he knows it all and you should take his advice and he's the alpha, he's the omega. But what I want to ask you, Twitchy, is what is the main beef he had with you? What was the deal?
I I'm not exactly sure. I think I thought we were kind of, I thought we were okay for a while there. But when he did show up in Pattaya, he kind of switched gears and just he started attacking me relentlessly for 6 months. And at that point, I just completely tuned him out. And then a couple months ago, I realized he had disappeared. The channel that he was running before, something happened to it. And he was gone. And then suddenly, somebody on my channel mentioned him, and I knew right away who Video Freedom was, Video Fucktard. So I tuned in, and lo and behold, he was just destroying Grandpa Monger, his former buddy down there in Pattaya at the hangout, and I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, wow, he's changed gears, and then suddenly, he came after me. There's quite a few other vloggers over here in Thailand that he completely ignores, but right now he's got a fucking massive hard on for me and for Kev in Thailand. And Kev is this palmy fucking Brit you can't hardly understand the guy. Jeez, I mean, seriously. If you,
I would like to ask you, can you give us a few examples of how he attacked you, what he said about you?
Well, you guys got to understand, my biggest problem happened in December of 2016, okay? When my estranged brother, my twin brother, who I haven't talked to in literally or any kind of contact since over 20 some years, he suddenly found out that I was in Thailand, and he knew about my previous trip to the Philippines. But anyway, he started palling up with these haters and these trolls that hated me and started doxing me and releasing all this, very personal information about my past, my military background and whatnot, which there's only one other person on the planet who would ever know that other than me. And at first I couldn't believe it was him, but he made contact with Kev in Thailand. And that's what started the war between me and Grandpa Monger. I warned this guy, Kevin. I said, look, this is a personal problem between me and my brother, and you need to stay out of it. Well, Kevin hated me for calling him out for being a fucking monger, and he took the ball and ran with it. And when he hooked up with Aaron, he backed off, and then he kind of gave all that information to Aaron. So Aaron was perpetuating, was putting out all this information about me. And that kind of pissed me off.
When they call you a monger, what do you mean exactly by a monger? I mean,
you don't know what a fucking monger is? A whoremonger, man. You're a whoremonger.
Okay, whoremonger. All right. There's many kinds of mongers, right? You're just saying monger, right? They whoremonger and I gotcha, okay?
I've never heard of a monger referred to anything other than a whoremonger. What other kinds of mongers are there?
There are different mongers. There are different mongers. They're rumor mongers, for instance. I just saw that on one of these online dictionaries. I would just like to mention three things here, or a few things here. First of all, now that we got a lot more people listening to this, please check the links in the description of this channel here. These are two sites hosted and run by Aaron. He uses these sites as tool to get close to these girls and getting their pics and so on and so forth, which is really sick. And one of my sources told me he has never been in the army or military and so on and so forth. He was an electrician, self-employed, and he is 51 years old.
Let me ask you this, Twitchy. When you were when you met him for these meetups and shit, was he the type of guy? Was he out there frequenting the bars, patronizing the girls that worked in the bar, or going with lady boys or anything like that?
Well, first off, I've never met the fucker, okay, and I would not want to.
Okay.
Never met any of those idiots down there in Pattaya. Pattaya is the biggest fucking whoremongering red light district. It's the biggest shithole on the planet when it comes to prostitution. Let's just be clear about that. There is nothing like it anywhere else in the world. So any I would say any normal man that chooses to live there, but no man that would choose to live there is normal. Okay, you have to be suspect of any person that's there. I don't care if they're Thai. I don't care what they are. I've lived over in Thailand for almost 2 years now, and the way the local Thai people look at that part of their own country is, well, it's pretty derogatory. I mean, Thai people are very, how do I say this? They're very extremely judgmental and very prejudiced, also very racist. But
Conservative too.
no, Thai people are sexually very, very liberal behind closed doors. I mean, that's why they tolerate prostitution as part of their culture for so many years. Everybody wants to say that Pattaya was a result of the GIs from the Vietnam War. That's bullshit. I mean, anybody that's fucking lived here in Thailand, I could take you literally within a few kilometers any direction and show you the local prostitution joints for the Thai gentlemen. Okay. They're everywhere. Okay. They're fucking everywhere. So to blame prostitution on the foreigners, especially the American GIs, is to me, that's just a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, I mean, Pattaya is a shithole, and anybody that takes up residence there, you have to be suspicious of why on God green earth they would choose that particular place to live. Okay.
Well, and that's why I said earlier to take the moral high ground, to be outraged, to call everybody a sexpat when you're living in Pattaya. It's like, man, that's a stretch. So I understand what you're saying.
For him, absolutely. But you got to understand, Aaron is like the biggest fucking hypocrite that there is. He somehow thinks that people are just going to gloss over the simple fact that he's actually taken up residence there too, and he's been there for quite some time now. I've been there for almost a year now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he has.
And it's not the cheapest place to live here. I'm living in one of the cheapest places you could find here.
That's northeast Thailand, right? Near Udon Thani.
Absolutely. I'm probably 50 minutes north of Udon.
Okay, yeah, because I have been there in 2005 when near the Robinson Mall there's a Robinson Mall. That was during the time they were doing the Cobra Gold. I think there's an air base near the Udon Thani area.
Yeah, there is, and they just finished one up here a couple weeks ago.
It's around this time, like March, April, May, around that time. Yeah.
I've seen these vlogs, Twitchy, of like Dead Farang, Kevin in Thailand, and they're vlogging Pattaya, and they're showing Cheap Charlie. He's another one, and they're showing all these vlogs of the nightlife of Walking Street there, where you're talking about the shithole Pattaya. Yes. And so, would you say that this guy Aaron Wilson is down there, doing all the shitty things that all these other assholes are doing, fucking the bar girls, maybe tugging on some lady boy's pecker?
I don't think Aaron has money to get laid over there. He's broke.
I was going to say, no, I think you guys are wrong in that respect. I mean, Cheap Charlie is the epitome of a guy who's a poor, broke son of a bitch with no money, no income. He's an overstayer. Recently admitted several times that he's overstayed his visa by months and months and months now, and he's struggling to make money off of his YouTube channel. And if anybody could make enough money, it would be Cheap Charlie. He's kind of come out of nowhere in the last year, and he has the views and probably has the revenues one way or another through Patreon, through PayPal, or through whatever he's doing. The AdSense is questionable for him because of the content now, but he's over there because he needs to exploit that location to make money. Now, is Aaron exploiting that location to make money? No, absolutely not. I mean, when he attacked Grandpa Monger, I realized, well, he's definitely not a monger, or he's not part of the crew, because he certainly wouldn't be calling these guys mongers and calling them out. So he's got some sort of pension. He's got some sort of income. I mean, Christ, look at his channel. I mean, a year ago, he's getting like 58 views per video, and he's putting out 16 videos a day, or, podcasts, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. I mean, he's not. he was never in it for the money because he's never generated any revenue. So
Yeah,
clearly,
I think where he's generating his revenue, if you want to pass it on, is through his disability, probably, number one. And number two websites that we have found, Site Modeling and Scene Queens. He is the author of those sites, and they feature very, very young. I would have to almost say, I'm borderline to say that, they're
Some are
Jew
kids.
kids, and if you take a look at these websites when you get a chance after the show, they're in the description, and they're pay sites. And so I'm definitely not going to waste my fucking money on it, Twitchy, but that's where I see his income coming from
Mm.
to support his mongering. What do you think of that?
why does
And
he
let
spend,
me
why does
and
he
let me
spend
just and
talking
let
to
me
him?
just let me just add this for you guys out there familiar with the Philippines vlogging community. That's why he is close to Mark Bebots from Bebots Only or Bebots Unforgiven, and you all know what that means. So yeah, please
Ala,
carry on.
would you please explain to me this Bebots or Bebots guy? I know him and what you're
Bebots is a Bebots is a Filipino American. Bebots is a Filipino American. He approaches young, very young girls. He uses his appearance because he's Filipino, and he approaches them, and he pretends to be some sort of a model scout, and the girls get interested. He makes compliments. He invites them to McDonald's, pays them a meal, and then he presents them on his YouTube channel. And he says it's all just about meeting new friends and so on and so forth. But what is really going on is he is a matchmaker. And
yeah,
when you look at his
yeah,
vlogs,
he's
he
dating.
claims that they are of age, but some of these girls, they look like 12, 13, 14 years old. That's what
Okay,
you need to know about him.
Says Styles. Why was Says and this Bebots guy? Why they've been together for the last 2 years? What's up with that?
Um, let's just say says it has never been a guy who had a problem with things like that. And that in itself is a problem. He says was actually also close to, well, not close, but says was also doing live streams with video freedom at some point before they had the falling out.
Well, they had a falling out because he continually attacked him for the longest time last year. So
Yeah, and you know why? Because there is no other reason than VF becoming jealous of SES, because SES started to do live streams, and they were actually the biggest live streams in the Philippine community. And Video Freedom didn't really like that because he felt like he is the only guy who knows how to do radio. And he talked about being some sort of expert in doing radio shows. And he got really upset with Says when Says started to claim that he is actually the guy who made live streams big, and everybody after that was just a copycat. And Aaron, you know how sensitive he is when you don't give him the credit he thinks he deserves, right?
I know how sensitive it is when you show people his fucking hair and call him a monger squatch. That really pissed him off.
But let me ask you this, Twitchy. How did he attack you? I mean, give us examples of. I mean, because he must have attacked you for something.
I don't know. It was just the same shit everybody's attacked me for. He was just jumping on the bandwagon with everyone else, with all the other mongers down there in Pattaya. So it was just the same kind of shit, And his most recent deal is to label me a monger, which is absolutely ridiculous. This whole mobile monger thing. It's like, the typical whoremongers don't understand what dating is. I mean, there's different types of dating, and I'm not one of these players that's running around handing out my Well, I have, but I don't generally hand out my phone number on a little piece of paper to a waitress. No, I mean, I've done it, but I'm not one of these guys, these younger guys that comes over here to Asia to play the game, to be a player. I date, and his last attack against me has been to try to. And a lot of these other mongers have said, oh, if you're on dating apps, if you're on Date in Asia, if you're on, well, Tinder is a little different, but on any of the dating apps over here, that's essentially the same as mongering,
Would you say that Video Freedom Aaron is broke? Because this is something that I believe. I think he is broke, but I have conflicting info about this because some guys say, and they actually have the info to back it up, the evidence to back it up, is he owns property in the US, 2 properties worth more than $1 million. And some said that he is living off the income of these 2 properties. And then on the other side, you have him putting out vlogs where he is begging for money for his broken notebook. And if you have seen his place in Pattaya, he has shown his place there. It's a rundown. It's a rundown place.
It's
It's
another
basically a
fucking warehouse. Is that what you're saying, Hello?
yeah, it is. It's a fucking shithole, where he drinks his 3-in-1 coffee, and in that small room. And then on the other hand, I have seen the infos, and then that is something that I really wonder about. Is the guy broke, or is he somebody who has money?
I don't even think he owned a car in the U.S. He always talked about renting a car.
Yeah, I don't think so. If people think he owns $1 million worth of property, a 5% cap rate on $1 million property, he's been making $50,000 a year. He wouldn't be living in this shithole he's living in. He wouldn't be begging.
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me too, but because there are some people. I was very. Let's put it this way. I was very surprised when I have seen when I saw the info, and it's with the address, and it's owned by him. It's confirmed. So if anyone out there, and you know who you are, can you please put it in the FB Messenger right now so I can take a look at it?
How can that be confirmed? Aaron is the biggest braggart, the most narcissistic fucktard I've ever seen. If he owned a piece of property, he would have let leak several pictures. He would have placed himself in front of the property. He would have associated himself with it. No,
I agree. But the only reason why he wouldn't do it, and that's the main reason, is he doesn't want people to know who he really is and where he is based at. That's the reason.
Give me his fucking name. I'll dox him.
Yeah. We'll provide you with all the info we get. Very interesting. You can take a look at it. I will make that happen. I will make sure that you will get all the info. I thought that this has happened already, but yeah.
Assholes broadcast my personal information. I fucking owe it to him. So, I mean, if you got real information, why?
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure of that. That you will be given all the information. I would like to read out a comment from John Doe here about Bebots. His name is actually Mark. He came to the USA at the age of 15 years old, and he arranges meetups between foreigners and under the guise of saving young poor girls. That's what he does.
But I got one piece of advice for you there, Twitchy. If a guy by the name of B-Boats ever approaches you and offers you French fries, please run and run quickly. Okay?
Wait a minute.
He only gives that to the girls.
Jollibee fries or McDonald's fries?
Jollibee.
I'll leave the Jollibee shit on the table. If it's McDonald's French fries, I don't know. I might have a weak moment.
Yeah, but we're gathering all this information on him, Twitchy. People behind the scenes are getting it up, and we know what he looks like, where, who, what, why, where, and when. And you're more than welcome to join Discord, and you can have all this information, and we'll let you run with it.
You guys haven't noticed, I don't have a problem outing people, especially if they're outing me, if they're trying to dox me. And and throw my personal information out there, it's fucking game on.
Sure, we'll shoot you an invite to Discord, and you can meet some influential people and gather a lot of good information. Okay, as that's what these trolls are doing. Like Russ Bundo is just here, and I blocked him. You're gone. Another Russ Bundo comes up. I'll block you. You're gone. Because I'm not going to fucking put up with it today or any other day. If you're going to come in and you're going to say nasty things about my daughters, you're going to say nasty things about my family, you're going to try and dox me, I'm just going to block you on this channel. You're done. Now, if you come in this chat and you have something constructive to say, sure, I'll listen to you. But other than that, piss off. That's the way I see it. How about you, John Doe? You got any questions for Twitchy?
I've got some John Does on my channel. I don't know if this is one of the same or not.
No, I don't. I never comment on. I've seen one or two of your videos, but I early on videos. Weren't you married to a Thai girl? I'd seen videos you her driving the car and you driving around.
Yeah, I still am technically.
Oh, all right. Yeah, but I never posted any comments to your channel though.
Okay. Well, there's been quite a few John Does.
It's a different asshole, not me.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the original John Doe, Twitchy.
Well, you know, when I did the video about the Philippines and then I called out Rike and Ned, that generated a lot of crosstalk between the Philippines genre and Thai genre. But I really haven't gone down that road for a while. But I have been watching Rike and Ned.
What do you think of Brain Dead Ned?
Okay, I met him. Met him twice.
Oh, wow. Lucky you.
Well, no, it was by chance.
Right.
Second time we were kind of supposed to meet up, and he, where the hell, what the hell is the name of that city that he lives in? Shit, it's down there.
Dumagetti.
Dirty Getty, Shitty Getty, down there, Dirty Getty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him at a pharmacy one day, and yeah, the typical kind of asshole attitude that a lot of these vloggers do. You know, if you do catch him out in public, that, you know, I'm a celebrity kind of attitude.
Was he picking up Zithromax when you met him?
He was picking up something in the pharmacy. I was looking for a splint because I had dislocated my finger. Diving, I was down near Oppo Island, but not Oppo, but anyway, south of Dumagetti. But yeah, Brain Dead Ned and Rike the Raccoon are two of the. I mean, they are the epitome of the DOB, dirty old bastard. They just completely fit that MO, and they both started out, you know, kind of dating much older women, especially Rike, and he kind of started in the 40s and worked his way down to 14 right now, I think. So, I mean, he is just the dirtiest old bastard of them all. And
so, do you have something against these guys like Brain Dead Ned and Ricky the Raccoon, as you coined the phrase, going to Philippines and having these what I call May December relationships?
They're not relationships; they're maids. Okay, they're like clean the house and clean my dick kind of maid. You know, I mean, they're overseas foreign workers that don't have to leave the Philippines. I mean, that's the typical DOB profile over there in the Philippines, and you know, you guys live there, so I mean, you can't avoid it. It's everywhere. You go in the bigger cities and you see these old bastards.
Brain Dead Ned is such a big pussy. He cleans his own place. Believe me, the girl don't clean the place for him. He's just nothing but a big pussy.
He looks like the kind of liberal fucking northeastern I grew up in.
Boston liberal prick.
Hey, let me stop you right there. Not all liberals come from Boston, okay? Lay off my city, guys. Okay.
I've seen some of his commentary and yeah, over the years, and yeah, he's a total liberal. And if you look
the best incident was when he wanted to beat up some old man in a doctor's office because he said something negative, made a negative Obama reference.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Well, I've seen one of his live streams where he's come right out and said, "Yes, I'm a socialist," and my jaw kind of dropped. And he believes that machines will run everything someday. So I'm kind of glad he's out there in Doomageddon, you know,
Well,
off the map somewhere.
my biggest problem with him, let's just put relationships aside and let's focus on the fact that both of these fuckheads hold themselves out as experts, pseudo experts in terms of retirement, well, with the Philippines, because they've never fucking been anywhere else. I mean, seriously, they've, except to go back to America through Korea or Japan, other than their air travel, they've never, ever been to any other country in Southeast Asia. So what I dislike about them the most is the fact that you can't really give genuine advice on retirement in Asia the way they do, especially Rike, who's been talking about making the trip to Cambodia to go find, you know, his pedophilia paradise in Cambodia or whatever, and then or Thailand. Neither Ned nor Rike, they couldn't fucking make it here. They couldn't make it.
Ned was an expert that the first minute he stepped foot in the Philippines, he was already an expert.
Well, yeah, but he met up with Rike, and Rike helped groom him. I mean, you know, he was like Buttman and Robin. And he was his Rike's butt buddy the whole time. You guys
I hope Steve isn't getting offended. I hope.
I know Montelli's on here, and I know a little bit, but you guys are very cliquey over there in the Philippines when it comes to vlogging. Over here in Thailand, man, it's like each idiot, we're all on our own. I mean,
oh, it's dog eat dog there.
Oh, good Lord, yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. What do you think of that, Alan? Dog eat dog.
I think I like that. I like that concept. I think I like that concept. That means more drama and more debates and fights, and I think it's a lot more action. I was actually told that the Thailand community, the Thailand blogging community, when it comes to drama, is really hardcore. You know, I'm not really very familiar with all the vloggers. I have seen a guy called 60 Seconds in Thailand, Sonny Schollenbruch, a German guy. Then Kev in Thailand, I think, is that older Brit guy, and a couple of other guys. But I'm not really familiar with the Thailand community.
I'm actually the biggest instigator of drama over here in the entire community,
which is good. That's very positive. That's very positive.
Does Kevin in Thailand have complete dentures?
I think the upper ones are fake. I don't know about the lower ones.
See how when he talks, it seems like his teeth are going to fall out of his mouth.
I think they're going to like shoot right out. I don't know. You know, I met Sonny. I mean, I've been trying to instigate something with Sonny for a year, and I finally basically walked up to his restaurant and camped out next door. He eventually hunted me down with like several of his friends, and they beat my ass. So, yeah, you really can't get any more violent than the Philippines. Or it can't get more violent than the vloggers over here in Thailand. There's quite a few criminals over here.
I believe that has also to do with the fact that there are just a lot more expats in Thailand.
I don't know. I'd have to spend more time back in the Philippines, but God, there were a lot of expats, and
I mean, you have like expat enclaves, like in Chiang Mai, for instance. Then Bangkok, of course. Pattaya is expat. I don't know, like 50%, or I don't know. It's a lot more expats in Thailand, and it's a very diverse expat community. You know, you get the Germans, the Brits, Americans, of course, a lot of Australians. Also a lot of Scandinavians.
Are there Black American expats in Thailand? Lots of them, or no?
Very few.
Because Aloe wants to know, not me.
Shit.
I understand that it's like 50 to 1 or 100 to 1 between the visitors, the tourists, and the sexpats or expats. You're talking about highly populated tourist destinations. So if you were to strip away all the tourists and look at actual expats, the numbers between 300,000 and 400,000 expats in Thailand. But wait, what do we have? Like 3 to 5 million visitors every year
In Thailand?
Yeah, tourists. The sex
I think
industry.
I think it's a lot higher. I think it's a lot higher. I heard numbers of hovering around 20 million.
Oh,
I'm not 100% sure about that because I know that in the Philippines they had a record number of tourist arrivals, like 7 million, 6 to 7 million, but it's still very small to compare to Singapore, for instance, Malaysia and Thailand. So I think it's like a lot.
I'm talking about white people. I'm just automatically excluding the Chinese tourists, which
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
like over 50% of the total tourist.
Mm-hmm.
The total.
My source just told me that it's confirmed that Aaron has property in the San Francisco area, and people are surprised about it because he really lives like a bum, but he owns 2 properties, and they got the addresses, they got family details, and so on and so forth. And my good friend here asks me if you, Twitchy, if you have taken a look at the scenequeens.com site and what you think about it.
All this is new to me. The only thing I did to run Aaron off was I dug up some images, and some other people helped me dig up some images from some of the videos that he was actually videoed in while he was in Pattaya. And then I haven't even showed his most famous video he's got the longer, the 2 twins from the Matrix, the 2 blonde freaky Aaron,
Please post it.
Well, I think that
Yeah.
video is like 5 years old, right?
Yeah, it's like 10 years old. It's out there.
It's pretty old. That video's been out there, but it's hard to find because his name is not attached to it at all.
Well, yeah, but he went out and he interviewed all these other Fruit Loops, so he's still on their site.
You might find a couple of videos about him, because there is a guy out there who has put out a vlog called Aaron Wilson Exposed, and then there is a couple of interviews he did with some Israeli guys, like in some Gaza Strip activist, and doing interviews about Zionism and
that's the one I'm talking about.
That's that kind of stuff. It's really weird. It's a mix of Jewish / Alex Jones / Philippine expats, blah blah blah. It's one very strange mix of topics. I would like to ask you, Twitchy, how did you get hold of this footage of him? Because he seems to be a guy who's very careful, not getting on cam. So nobody could use it against him. How did he get footage of this guy?
When he was best buddies with Kev in Thailand and Pattaya, he was going to these Wednesday night meetups. And Kevin, I think, had shot some footage of him, or tried not to, but may have accidentally shot some footage. But there were some other vloggers, in particular, a wife of one of the circle attendees that videoed him, and someone had spotted him in that video. So that's where I got it.
And that person sent it over to you.
No, she didn't send it to me because she's married to a guy who's best friends with this Kevin Thailand guy.
Mm-hmm.
But she has her own little YouTube channel, and somebody sent me a link to the video, and I watched it, and I downloaded it, posted it. So
Twitchy, would you say this guy Video Freedom and Kevin in Thailand are e-beggars?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because that's what we rail against here. We rail against the e-beggars.
Oh, fuck, I hate it. I've been bagging on e-beggars, especially because it's illegal here to beg, and it's also illegal to work here and generate revenue, receive revenue for anything.
Uh-huh.
Illegal in Thailand to monetize a YouTube channel. Okay. Now, and I've been in this argument since one of the very first vlogs I ever made when my channel started, and everybody attacked me because I just pointed out the obvious, and they just went off the fucking deep end, and they've never ever relented as far as coming after me for that. And occasionally I will go back out and mention that, hey, it's illegal. They hate it. Now, again, speeding is illegal, right? Like in America,
Yeah, correct.
it's illegal. Now, I never said you're going to get caught and go to jail and kicked out of the country. I just said, hey, it's illegal. And if you do get in trouble for something, that's one of those things that the prosecutor is probably going to levy against you when they're coming up with charges to give you a fine for. Because in Thailand, let me give you guys an example. When I was in Chiang Mai, my neighbor had a friend who had lived in the subdivision or the village, if you were. And he had been working on a house the year before, an older gentleman, like in his 70s, German guy. And he had moved out of the village and got some property and started building this ginormous house. Well, there were some local Thai people in the area that did not want a foreigner, a Falang, living in that area. So they were after him. Anyway, one night it was late. The lights were on inside the house. He was inside staining and working on some of the cabinetry, and the neighbors got some good video of him. And he came back the next morning and started to work again. And the immigration police and the regular police were there, and they arrested him. It's 100,000 baht fine.
Holy shit, that's a lot of money.
What did they arrest him for working on his house?
The laws in Thailand, as far as working here, they're very similar to the Philippines, but much more open to interpretation. I mean, technically, if anything that exerts effort, I mean, even if you work in a nonprofit situation, many NGO volunteers get busted for this all the time.
That's why I let my girl get on top, so I'm not caught working.
Yeah, you don't want to get busted for being a gigolo.
No, definitely not.
In Thailand, it can happen, but it's only going to happen over here if you piss a Thai person off, or if you're a foreigner and you're running a bar and you're shuttling drinks out to a table, and the immigration officer, and I met several bar owners in Hua Hin who were busted in the last couple of years for doing this. But anyway, I'm one of these guys that brings that up and throws it in these vloggers' face, and they just have a fucking conniption fit over it. It just pisses them off, and all their little supporters have a freaking meltdown over it, and they attack me for just pointing out the obvious, because these guys are, they're setting up what they're doing is illegal, selling t-shirts and paintings and all the other bullshit, and pimping out restaurants and doing reviews and getting money under the table. It's all illegal.
So they're really not going there to live, have a good time. They're going there to see if they can make money and scam people. Basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're e-beggars, they're scammers, and they're working illegally. I mean, this guy, this 20 seconds in Thailand, this Thailand Rob, this asshole from Florida is the biggest e-beggar. And, if you look at his channel and his subs and his views on his videos, he's been in here for 3 years. He's never had an O visa. He's never had a marriage visa or a work visa or education visa or a retirement visa. The guy's a fucking perpetual tourist visa. And he's selling products. He's got a website, sells t-shirts. He begs money on his Patreon. And the interesting thing is he has got a really high, close to around $1,000 a month on his Patreon. And I'm a gamer, so I see some of these people that have websites or excuse me, the channels, the YouTube channels, they got like millions of freaking views per video, and they're very big channels, and they might be getting $300 or $400 a month from Patreon. And this guy, Thailand Rob, is getting like 1,000. Well, somebody just recently sent me some links to his private videos that snuck out. So I've been monitoring his private videos after like 2 weeks, it's got 14 views, but he supposedly has over 200 Patreons.
So he's doing like the other guys. He's buying views. He's buying. He's buying views, subs, and stuff like that. Would you say?
It could be, but his Patreon, I think I've said this for a while. I think he's funding his own Patreon to make it look more legitimate, to legitimize what he's doing. And when I realized that he's had one of his private paid videos and 14 people have watched it in a week, almost 2 weeks, it's like he doesn't have any Patreons. It's bullshit. He's putting his own money into his own Patreon account to try to keep the money rolling in from the people who do want to donate.
Yeah, we have ones like that here, like Ren Zero and Chixie, the Sentai 17. She'll get on the cam and go, "Hi guys," and these guys will pre-cum and they'll start sending $5 and this and that, and this guy will come on in his videos and claim he used to be a firefighter. Let's see, he was a gang leader. All kinds of bullshit. Like, he's living in a fucking warehouse. He's got a few thousand subs. He says he has a boat, and here it leads me right back. This idiot's got a boat, and he says it's a business. He won't say whose name it's in. It's just like in Philippines. You have to have a certain visa if you want to own a business. Period.
Well, you can't own property in the Philippines if you're a foreigner. It's the same in Thailand. You can own a condo. That's about it. Anything else is a go.
It's like even the only exception to the rule I've ever seen in Philippines, if you go on the old base, the Subic Naval Base, which is now the Freeport Zone, you can own a house. Yeah, you could buy it, but you have to lease the land and you're leasing the land. So if you break the lease, guess what? You lose the land. You'll lose the land, and you'll eventually lose the house. All right? It's plain and simple. And you can't just out and out own anything in either one of these countries.
No, I mean, the oldest scams in the book in the Philippines and over here in Thailand is to sell the stupid foreigner a piece of property or make him think he's buying a property, or even helping his wife or girlfriend buy it. And then, suddenly after everything's built, the deed wasn't actually clear. There was other people that had a claim to that property too, other family members, and that's very common in Asia, that different family members, especially the daughters, will end up holding, a portion of the deed, and one of them will sell it off to get the foreigner to build a big house on it, and then the other sisters will show up and basically say,
Do you think that could happen to Video Freakdom? I'm kind of hoping it does. I would really like to see this piece of shit flushed down the toilet, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be brutal and fucking honest with you here, Twitchy. I am fucking tired of this asshole.
Give a shit about relationships. He's a fucking user of human beings. And what you're telling me is true about these websites, that he's exploiting these girls on the website. That would fit his MO. He hates women. He fucking hates women. The guy's a complete misogynist.
If there's something you could tell him, if he would be on the show here, if there's something that you could tell him directly, and I know he will listen to this because he has his fanboys in this community. Miss Heminger is one of them, and I know Miss Heminger will check out this live stream later. What would that be, Twitchy? If you could send him a message, what would that be?
I can't say it.
Sure you can. Go ahead.
Not on the new clean YouTube.
No. You're pushing me in a bad direction.
That's my intent. I'll be brutally honest with you.
Rumor has it that he is in Cambodia doing the visa run, but staying in Cambodia a while. What do you think of that?
I don't think anybody knows for sure what he's up to, but I definitely want to see this documents that says he owns property because it just doesn't make any sense. This guy wouldn't be living like that. I mean, he's not an eccentric kind of person. We're not talking about Howard fucking Hughes here.
Mm-hmm. I was also surprised, I must say. I was also very surprised, and even the guys who showed me the info, they were surprised as well. But I'll make sure that you will get that information. I think you're also communicating with Dave, and the guy that I talked to is also close to Dave, so I'll talk to that guy, Dave.
Yeah, where is
Quentin Baliu. He has internet problems and tried to tune in, but he's getting his internet fixed. I think from a DSL connection, they are upgrading it to a fiber connection, and I think that they were doing that today. And
so all of you guys are in the Philippines right now?
No.
So Dave's the only one that's not here because he's in the Philippines and because internet sucks in the Philippines. Poor bastard. Yeah, he was the one that invited me. I was just thinking, where the hell is Dave at? Okay. He's not here.
So when I sent you the invite, you were like, who the hell is this idiot, right?
I wasn't sure who you were.
Yeah. Oh, but it is what it is. Gentlemen, we're going to go around the horn here, and I'm going to call it one more thing. Not last words, one more thing. You got one more thing to espouse about? I will give you the opportunity right now, and we will start with the guy that loves the attention the most, Steve Montelli.
Finally, we're back to me.
Yes, it's all about you, Steve.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot to say other than, my problem with video freedom's the same as everybody else's. It's the same MO every time. Same MO. Nothing changes. So it's not unusual at all. I mean, just from what Twitchy said, it's the same MO again. Like I say, take a look at the Lee Priest video. It's the same MO there too. Okay. It's called Lee Priest Has a Stalker. Guess who that is? So it's the same.
All right. And that's one more thing from Steve Montelli. Thank you. John Doe, my abrupt, gruff, and sometimes nasty fellow live streamer. What do you got?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. It was an honor meeting Steve Montelli, a.k.a. the Wallet Guy, here in the flesh. Not so much because he's Steve Montelli, but because I know he's close to Brain Dead Ned and Freak.
Actually, I've never met. I've met them briefly, but I've never had any kind of conversation at all with either of them.
Oh.
I met them briefly one night at a restaurant in Dumageddon when there was a grand opening. So that's all I've.
What was your impression? Any impression?
No, not really. I mean, I didn't really. I just said hi, and Ned said a few words, and then he jetted out. And Henry said he had a couple of ex-girlfriends showing up, and I said, "Well, I'll get the door for you so you can run when they show up." But I really didn't talk to either of them much, so I don't know them personally much at all. Just
all right. I appreciate it when you go back to your channel, unblock me because I have some words of wisdom to post.
Yeah, we look forward to that. John,
yeah, and my few short words on video freedom. He's a scumbag. He couldn't get laid in Thailand if his friggin' life depended on it, and he's just a broke, sorry ass.
Very well.
All right, that's about it. All right,
all right.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome, John. Twitchy, you got the floor. One more thing, buddy. Make it good, man.
Aaron, what can I say about a guy with a haircut or a hairstyle like that or a hairline like that? He's still professing that he still uses hair gel. So anybody that could rock a skullet like that is, in my mind, he's got a few talents. he's got the radio voice, but he's also got that narcissistic quality that's kind of off the chart. But it's his anonymity that he values the most, and he fucked up when he came to Thailand, and he fucked up when he started hanging out in Pattaya. So we do know what he looks like. He is a racist like I've never seen before, a bigot like I've never listened to before, an anti-Semite like no other. And he's also defamed the kingdom of Thailand. And if you guys notice, when I mentioned that in my blog about the Monger Squatch, he quickly took down all of his content. That's an admission of guilt. The guy, if I could find him and turn his ass into the Thai authorities, and they had access to a lot of the things that he said, he could go to prison over here. It's pretty serious, and I think he realizes it. So I think his days here are numbered. I think he's going to be heading back over to your guys' neck of the woods soon. I don't think he can.
Oh God, don't say that. Twitchy, I want to thank you for coming on, bro. I really appreciate it. You're welcome here. If you like to come on again and would like to espouse or have any more information on this freak of nature, it would be quite welcome.
Well, he's still talking shit on me, so anything you guys have, send it my way, because if you haven't noticed, it's not beyond me to call somebody out in public, and I'm not an anonymous person. I'm real.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can clearly see that. My favorite lunatic, Ella de Winter.
What can I say?
Little prick. What do you got?
Well, what can I say? I think first of all, I want to thank everybody coming on the show. You, Steve, John Doe, and Twitchy, and thanks a lot for hosting the show, Popeye. I want to thank the guys in the live chat.
You didn't thank Steve. Did you thank Steve?
I did thank Steve. Yeah, I always thank Steve. He's one of my favorite vloggers in the Philippine YouTube community. And I look forward to have you on the show again. And next time with Dave. I hope he gets his internet fixed. And again, I want to thank all the guys in the background who are putting together all these information. And I will forward it. I will tell them to forward it to Dave and then the other guys so they can forward it directly to Twitchy, and then he can take a look at all this information. And I would like you guys to go to the description of this channel here and check out all the sites that we talked about, the sitemodeling.com and the scenequeens.com. And I think this will not be the last show we will do about a guy like him. I think maybe next week again, when our guys will put more informations out there. And, I look forward to it. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Steve. Nice to meet you, man.
I want to thank y'all for coming out. I want to thank the losers in the chat. Some great questions. All my losers. And bruisers and butthurt assholes. Thank you for coming out. And y'all have a good Easter. All right. Popeye out. Riff Raff Radio out. Enjoy your day or evening.